give out a shout out to him, man. I'm gonna try and link him in the. You know when you're so rusty on YouTube, fam, like you don't even know what to say, like the description. Welcome to the video, and this video is intended to help you develop locally as opposed to developing on Databricks 24/7 and letting Databricks just basically throwing all the money at Databricks. I like Databricks. I've got nothing against Databricks. Like seriously, like I think they're killing the game right now, and future videos will feature Databricks quite a lot. But at the same time, you gotta treat that money like it's your own. Even though, let's say, like your business is paying the cost for the data platform or anything, you gotta treat every pound like it's your own. And also, if you manage to save money there, you get to spend it elsewhere or something like that. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's really important that even as data practitioners, we care about the amount of money we're spending, because at the end of the day, somebody's got to pay that check or somebody's got to pay that invoice. So this just a little repo inspired by I saw him in the Seattle Data Guy like Substack, and then I just kind of started following his videos, and he's got a YouTube channel called the Average Engineer. His name's Daniel Beach, and really want to give out a shout out to him, man. I'm gonna try and link him in the. You know when you're so rusty on YouTube, fam, like you don't even know what to say, like the description. Oh man, this is crazy. But yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I did not mean for the video to be long, but sometimes when I record my screen, I feel like I've been recording for 5 minutes. It stops and it's like 32 minutes. I'm like, yo. So I'm gonna try to edit it down. I'm gonna try to take out some stuff that you guys don't need to know, and and we'll crack on in it. So yeah, I'm going to show you step by step how to get started with this repository, and sort of like how to get, how to kick on. But just a quick shout out to this guy called Daniel Beach. Put his name in there, put his link in there as well. It will take you to his Substack, where he's got a few interesting things. I haven't read all of them, but they're pretty good. And also, the thing that inspired this was really his developing production Databricks pipelines, and I kind of took some inspiration there. So what I'm gonna do for you guys is I'm gonna pull down this repository, show you guys how to run some PySpark commands locally, and also run those in Docker Compose, and run the tests in Docker Compose as well, and also just I've also got some GitHub Actions in here to run your tests locally as well, and hopefully everything should work. And then from the part that I don't have is any Databricks stuff, so I've totally ignored that right now. And yeah, man, without too much stuff, man, let's get started. So for this project, you definitely need a Python version is 3.11 going upwards, and also you might need you need Docker, and you need I've used Poetry, but you can, I guess, switch this up for UV or something, and maybe future versions of this will have UV in there as well, because I know. Cool. Let's get started. So just pull this down. So so I've already created the repo there. If I made any mistakes or anything that you guys don't like, please feel free to raise a PR or whatever. So I've got all the instructions here. You can git clone using that, and then cd into the folder. I'm just gonna do like a cd documents areas innovation. So let's see cd resources innovation. So this is where I put all my scrap stuff here. So now let's just copy. I'm just gonna copy these commands here and paste that. Ooh, I don't think I copied it. Anyhow, just do git clone. So you clone there, and then cd into project PySpark template. There you go, and then you kind of started there. So yeah, so you can see all our files here. By the way, if you're wondering what terminal I'm using this thing called WAP, which I saw it on someone's thing and I just liked it, so just thought let's go with that. Anyway, let's just open your PyCharm, your IDE. I usually change between VS Code and PyCharm. Right now I'm just feeding PyCharm for no particular reason at all, but it should all work the same anyway. So yeah, as you guys can see, you've got your opened all up here. So let's just, yeah. So you can see, so we've got the local laptop IDE is basically the PyCharm stuff. The Docker Compose test is the Docker stuff that's gonna happen. So I'm trying so hard to just basically just run the commands that are actually in the whole thing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna say deactivate. I'm just gonna say which Python, just to check which Python I got. So obviously you guys can see that my PyCharm, because I've stupidly named this the same project as the actual repo, it's kind of like detected that I already have that virtual environment on. But what you do normally is, let's see if it's gonna just work. So yeah, so you'd get the repo down. If you run make install, it will run just a poetry install and everything, and it will set up all your pre-commit hooks and all of that stuff, and you'll be kind of up and running really with like sort of like the local setup. And if you want to really, so what I have in these tests is I have a conf test. Actually, let me just start off with this like main code. So I have this Spark session sort of module that I use, and what I do with it, I sometimes create temporary tables, and these temporary tables are like either like some CSVs or some Parquet files. I can already see a mistake here. I wrote Parquet here, but they're actually CSVs. But yeah, I'll change that later. It's a minor mistake there. I usually use Parquet, but I thought to use CSVs because I wanted to show you guys. I wanted you guys to be able to actually see the data here. Whereas with Parquet, I'm not sure how to open that yet on these things. So what I do is I put all my CSVs in seed, and essentially I have a function that kind of like creates a table for each CSV that's in here using the name of the file. It just makes it easier sometimes. And also you can sort of, you can pass in the seed directory as well. So when I'm running it for the tests, I'll change it to being like, let's say data seeds in the tests, and it kind of works really well. And then here I create, so what I do here is like I say, we're trying to save money from Databricks, right? So I say the Databricks runtime, if this app is running in Databricks, then just basically just, yeah, instantiate the Spark object. But if you're not running in Databricks, then then kind of go all the way and configure our Spark Delta pip thing, and that sort of recognizes our tables, and also it creates the temporary tables using the files inside the seed folder and the data here. So hopefully that's not too complex. But anyway, if you did want to check, one of the ways that I do check is I will run this. So you can do like a poetry run, Python, usually people got have what do you call it, scripts for this, but it's just decided to just do it off off my head, which is like crazy right now. But yeah. So if I did this, this should just print out all the tables that are basically here, which is the constructors and the drivers table. But let's see what comes up. Takes a little bit of time, innit? The whole Delta thing locally, it just takes a little bit of time. I don't really know why, but you know, is what it is. Anyway, as you guys can see, yep, constructors, drivers is here. So that means that you can write your other modules or whatever and relate to these tables, and sort of like if you have them in your Databricks environment as well, you can maybe try and make sure that you've got enough data in the CSVs to at least mirror your Databricks like environment, so that you could save money that way. So that's one way to do it. Yeah, so I've shown you that part there. And let's go back to the conf test. So what I do is I've got a clean database function, which basically just deletes some of the things that are created by the by running these sort of things. And what I do is here I also have a Spark object that I create just for the tests. This is a PyTest fixture that you then pass into subsequent tests that are in the, let's say, like the unit folder. So you pass them into here, and that kind of works like that. So let's see. Let me just click into this Delta table here. So use an LLM to kind of say, okay, you know, can you just write me a test that's gonna have some Delta table operations, and so that I can ensure that it's working. So as you guys can see here, we are, you know, creating a data frame, we're writing that as Delta format, then we read that back, and then we check that it's the same. So that's kind of like, you know, quite cool, to be honest. And I've got this one here just to test the Spark session. This is just to test like the PySpark itself, just some basic transformations as well. And yeah, and basically if these two tests can run, you're pretty much okay, and your setup is pretty much fine. So what we do for that is that we can do make test. Actually, let me go back to my README so that this makes sense. So yeah, we can do make test. Oh, I think we ran this before. Yeah, we already ran this. Okay, fine. Yeah, we're just running it again just to make sure. Wow, yeah, it really takes its time, you know. I could have made it faster, but I didn't want to complicate the whole process. Do you know what I mean? Because this is only supposed to be a really short video. Wow. Yeah, this is taking time, innit? Yeah, that took its sweet time there. Anyway, so now let's move on to the part that, you know, it's kind of, so this part here, I think everyone can kind of double their way into getting Spark and Delta on their laptop and getting that working on their IDE. But one of the benefits in getting it working in the Docker Compose is that you know that you can make that reproducible across your team, and basically they can just kind of run the Docker commands and sort of like get that working. And also you can run like most of your commands in there as well. So if you're doing if you want to isolate certain things, Docker is quite good at doing those kind of things. If you want to isolate certain processes, anyway, Docker's quite good at doing that. So yeah, so that's why you would want it kind of working both ways, really. And sometimes if you're sort of like advanced enough, you could literally just develop in a Docker container all the time. So yeah. Anyway, let's move on. So what you do is I don't just want to write these things in my head because that one makes sense. So yeah, so run that command to let's build our image, and we're gonna call our image PySpark dev environment, While it's building, I'm just going to come here, and so I'm glad I've had this issue now. I keep on bumping into this issue here, and it's something to do with my networking. To explain the the the, um, the Docker file, what I do is I get a Debian image and I install PySpark on that image. As you guys can see here, I install PySpark on that image, and then so it's a multi-stage build, and then I have a Python-based image as well, and I install Poetry on there, and then I almost like I install Poetry and then use Poetry to generate me a requirements.txt file. And then what I then do is that I then give the last image my requirements.txt file and just pip install using that. So, I sort of debated if you needed this part here, but this kind of like how I've done most like poetry projects. So I just kind of kept the same thing. Maybe some parts of it are redundant, but I just want to just kind of keep it more familiar to how I do it in a real setting. So this kind of works. Trust me, I've been trying to do this for about 3 weeks now, and this was when I got this working. It's quite a relief, to be honest. Anyway, so let me come back to this thing. Let's just run it. Yeah, just run and pray, Okay, so our image has finished building. As you guys can see, PySpark dev environment image, and you can go to your Docker desktop. You can sort of see that there as well. So it's pretty cool. Anyway, so with that, I'll just go through the Docker Compose for a second. So the image, same name as our image, PySpark-dev, there's environment, and you can see here that we mount the volume, the app. We mount all the files in here into the app folder in the container. Then we run this command. So when you run this service, that's basically what happens. Let's do that dev. Okay, so let's see what's happening there. Okay. So here, what I've done is I've run dev, which is the same command that we ran when we started, to just check if our tables are being created, and our tables are in the Spark object. So let me just rerun that again. Okay, there you go. Okay, so now let's try the test again, and hopefully this should work. I don't know why it's not working, but that's just the one thing that has to work for this whole thing. Yeah, so for some reason, yeah, so there you go. Docker Compose up test. You can see it's working, and the reason this sort of like the reason like these errors keep on happening for me is something to do with my networking, and I'm not sure if it's my laptop, but I'm pretty sure it is. and you guys can see for yourselves that these Delta table operations actually work inside a container as well. So we've managed to do something on our laptops, and also we've managed to do that same thing. So we managed to do something on our laptops. We managed to do that same thing in the Docker Compose test as well. And the last part for me to show you is, actually, I guess I want to clarify a few things. Is there are some files that do get created when you do run these sort of like Spark operations, and the best way to sort of like clean them up or whatever is to run clean databases.sh, and that will clean them up as well. So if you ever sort of run into some sort of conflict or something because you're switching between local development and sort of like container development, you can kind of just delete everything and just kind of refresh that way. It's a little bit clunky, but it works. And I haven't found many videos like this, I guess, or that break it down like this. Anyway, let's go to our GitHub Actions. So I'm just going to show you guys the GitHub Actions that I have. It's quite simple, but all it is basically just running your pre-commit, your rough checks, and all of the things that check your code, and also just running your unit tests. So let me just show you guys how that sort of like connects together. So I'm just going to go to a closed pull request. Just going to click on that one there because I had to fix something. Let me see. So yeah, so you guys can see, you guys can see that we also managed to get these sort of like Delta table operations, Spark data frame operations, passing inside the GitHub Actions as well. So that's pretty good. And it's nice that it just works this way. To be honest, the first time it worked for me, I was a bit surprised, but it's quite good that we've got the same thing working on our laptop, working on Docker Compose, and also working on GitHub. The one thing that I do want to say is some of these tests do take a little bit of time to pass. In this case, we're not even doing anything complex at all, but the Delta operations kind of take a lot of time. So if anyone knows how to bring that time down or anything like that, please let me know. Okay, so let's just go back to our repo. So all the instructions are here. Feel free to contribute, and yeah, hopefully that was helpful. To be honest. So yeah, let me know what else I can do for you guys, and please, if you're not following the channel, just follow. I know I haven't uploaded for a while, but it'll be a good lookout for me. Thank you. Okay. 1 2 1 2.